So I was just talking about how the entire media in communist China were basically set against this group of 70 to 100 million people. And the language, some of the language was straight out of 1930s Germany, okay? Like the language used to demonize the Jews highly effectively, right? Similar types of demonizing language was used in communist China in 1999 to turn the population against these people. And so, this is why is this relevant to EpochTimes? Because EpochTimes was founded to tell the story of a persecution of 70 to 100 million people, and very quickly a lot more than that, right? In Atlanta, Georgia, at Georgia Tech, where some of the founders were from. And so, do we cover news and information differently? Yes, I think we're very unique in the information ecosystem. We have a very strong focus on truth, and I do think that's actually inspired by the Falun Gong, the first principle of the Falun Gong, truthfulness, right? And I mean, it's a deeper concept than that, but truth and integrity. And I think this is actually one of the threats that the Communist Party saw at the time, because in a communist society, truth is what the party says it is, or at least that's what the party demands, right? And suddenly you have a group of people that have a very different view on truth. And so that spirit, right, that animated the first reports from inside communist China, that were in America and many other places. I think our English edition was started in 2004, and quickly expanded beyond just covering China. Probably 7 or 8 years ago, the English edition eclipsed the Chinese edition. We're actually in 22 languages. But what animates us is truth-seeking journalism, right? And trying, this is always very hard to do. I'll confess, right? All of us have inherent biases.
We meaning as humans.
100%. Well, and as journalists, right? But our purpose, what we're really trying to do, is give people very good information, not slanted, right? Good information, present the issue as best as we can possibly, so people can make informed decisions themselves, as opposed to, which has become increasingly popular in media, kind of tell people what they should think. Because there's other names for that kind of journalism. That's not what we do. Yeah.
How has the mainstream press since the Obama era changed from what was once a trusted, impartial, objective, responsible journalism, in your view, which makes the EpochTimes stand out so much?
I think, I'm thinking of the dean, I believe, of Columbia Journalism School. He would call it activist journalism. That's sort of a new form that's evolved, right? Where I think the idea behind it, and I'm sure there was many well-meaning people involved in that, right? The idea was that there's threats to our society that are so great that we just can't cover them impartially. That would be unreasonable. We don't believe that. We believe that we should try to cover issues, fairly and reasonably, and so that people can make up their own minds. I mean, that's is it different? I think the reality is it is increasingly different, and I think that's very unfortunate. We would love to have more competitors, in a sense, in our field. We're a 501c3, we're a nonprofit, but I don't like to. I think I think the key is that's why people come to us, because they want that. There's an interest in that kind of news, right? Which is unfortunately very rare today.